What's up, guys? If you're interested in making your subwoofer look like this, well, first of all, you're a crazy person, but stick around and we're going to show you how we did it. We got this subwoofer. It did not look like this. It was missing a piece and it had some scratches and scuffs and other things on it, so we had to clean it all up and manufacture a piece to fill in the space. And we did this out of 1/4-inch plywood, so relatively inexpensive operation. This is kind of how the sub looked when we started, and what I'm doing here is figuring out how I'm going to get that shape onto some wood. So the first thing I'm trying here is with cardboard, and I'm going to use the cardboard to get an impression of those raised pieces. That's why I'm using a rubber mallet right here to kind of smash that into the cardboard, and then I can cut it out. Well, that worked pretty good, but it didn't give me the exact thing that I wanted. So I had to go back and measure different points on the driver. And if you want to see the more detailed video on how I did this, it's on the channel as well. This is a shortened version of it. But as you see, I'm measuring to each point and then marking them. Then I measure to the other points and mark those, and then we draw a diagonal line between them and we get that angle that we need. Then I measure over from here and there and I get those lines, and I use this roll of tape which matches the curve pretty good, and get my corners. And there's a shop cat. He's a cat that just showed up one day and decided that he lived there, so he's been hanging out with me. He's a pretty friendly old cat. Anyway, here I've got the piece cut out, but it doesn't fit yet. So I'm going around finding all the spots I need to trim, and I trim those. I built a jig so I could sand that area nice and flat and get that curvature and that shape right for the subwoofer to set in. Let's see here. Okay, see, I still have the corners on here. And what I'm going to end up doing is cutting those off and then sanding them. So we got those kind of rounded and looking pretty good. Here's a beauty shot. Now, this is before I did the holes. That's coming up. That's a whole nother process, is getting the holes so we can actually screw it down. Now, I could have stopped here and screwed it down and like stuck this on top of it, but I wanted it to be a fully functional piece that was part of the driver, just like the original piece was. So to get those marked out, we're going to have to do a little creativity. I found the drill bit that fits, and then I'm putting the bezel on the driver, and I'm going to use tape to hold it in place. I'm using some regular old blue painter's tape. I set up a jig to keep the surround off the table and give me some reinforcement, and now we're going to carefully drill those holes from the back where I can easily find them. And once we get the holes drilled, then we can flip it over and we can do the front part, which is the part we need. I just needed to indicate or find the exact position of the holes, and this was the easiest way I could think of to do it. And I have to be careful with subwoofers because I have a pacemaker in my chest, and big magnets make it start beeping at me, so I have to be careful when I handle them. So let's get the tape off of here and we can see where we're at with the holes. I'm going to use a rather large drill bit, the biggest one I can find in my kit, to make a round depression, basically to create a bit of a spot where I can set the screw will set down into the wood so it's flush. That's the idea. And I'm also drilling down to right when I get to the aluminum, so that most of the pressure of the screw will actually be against the aluminum basket and not against the wood. That was important. We don't want to have the wood split or have it crush or whatever. We want to create a nice solid recessed pocket there, right down to that screw boss. get a little sanding action going on here. I ended up having to redo my sander pad, which you guys didn't see the video on that. There's not a video on that, but I put a new sanding pad on because this one was just taking some abuse. It's been building so many boxes. Looking pretty good. It still needs work and all, but we're getting there. See, I'm using the drill to go along and tap out. Again, after I sanded it, I'm just kind of cleaning up those holes. And then we'll sand it some more. I'm trying to get the wood to break right at the edge of the hole and also go clean down in the hole. And it's fighting me the whole way through. This is just 1/4 inch handy panel from Menards, by the way. Nothing expensive. I think it was like 12, 15 bucks, something like that. So yeah, we're looking at the fitment. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. Considering that it's wood, I think it's going to still look fine in the end, which was the objective. Yeah, I'm having a long discussion on here. Again, if you want to see this full-length video, it is available in this playlist, showing you how I did all of this part. And now we're doing the stain. This is the long process. Basically, I'm learning how to do this in this process. I don't know what I'm doing. Guys, if you are a professional stainer or if you've done a bunch of staining and you have tips for me, this would be where you want to put those in the comments down below. Basically, I did no treatment other than to sand this thing, and then I started applying the stain. And I applied it, and I applied some more, and I kept going because I wanted it nice and dark. Ultimately, though, after what you're seeing here, I sanded this back down some, and then reapplied more stain afterwards to get the depth that I was looking for and to get the color to be the same across the board. Because where around the screw holes, I actually applied some Type Bond 3 around those screw holes. I applied multiple layers of it and then sanded it down between each layer to try to harden that wood and make it tough around those screw holes. And of course, that also fought me with the stain. You can see it's a little lighter around the screw holes. That's because that glue surface wasn't absorbing the stain as well as the rest of it was, which actually kind of looks cool, so I'm not really bitching about it. But ultimately, when I sanded it back down, this is after I sanded it, I sanded it back down some, and then I started reapplying stain and getting it to a better level. And you'll see in this images coming up when I started. This is the lighter version after I sanded it, and then coming up here in a second, still a lighter version. You'll see where I actually went back and added 2 more layers of stain and got it. There it is. Got it to the color I'm looking for. Notice that the screw the screw holes are pretty much the same color now. They're not really showing. So after having done that and sanded it and then redoing it again with more stain, it ended up doing pretty well. And I think it looks pretty good. If you guys be sure and hit the subscribe button and also leave comments down below. We have discount codes for everywhere. So if you go over to Big Jeff and pick up one of these drivers, you can use discount code CAE and save money on it. Use that same code for B2 Audio USA and for Slaps Audio. Man, good stuff.